here. All right.
Hello.
We
Yeah.
uh we should be live.
Okie dokie.
Um I'm going to try to get one of my friends in here to tell me if the audio's all right, and then we can start with the
Sounds good from my Twitch here.
All right, that should be fine then.
All right.
So, how are we doing this? Who wants to introduce what to how?
I guess. I suppose I'll start.
Yeah, you go for it.
All right. Hi, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Ben.
I'm. There we go. And that's Ben. And we have decided to start podcasting together because we have a lot of similar interests and we are both, I suppose, interested in sharing them.
Yes, we much enjoy talking about our shared interests, and we want to spew our useless opinions onto you, and hopefully you agree with them.
And the most convenient way to do that is in podcast form. All right. I guess uh, maybe we should talk about whatever our previous experience with podcasting is, if we have any.
Yeah. Well, I have prior to this 0, so that cuts my story short. You can take it away.
I have some previous podcasting experience. I guess, as a hobby, I've tried podcasting like a couple of times over the past few years. Ever since I was in CGEP, I became interested in podcasting because I took some radio courses and I became interested in just radio in general. And I started listening to more podcasts and online radio stations. And so after listening to so many, I figured it would be fun to do one with, my friends. So me and my friends started a little podcast where we would watch movies that were rated 50% or lower on Rotten Tomatoes. And that lasted about 10 episodes, and it's okay. Some of them are funny, and some of them are just like people trying to be funny. So that's how it be. But I was like 19 or something when I was doing that, and now I'm like pretty much 23. So
And
there's a bit of a difference in experience.
yeah, more
A
knowledge,
world of
more
difference. Exactly.
also a
little more
broader
experience.
spectrum of things to talk about. It will be
Yeah, and of things I'm interested in, and of especially when it comes to video games, like more consoles to play on, because I was not hauling a Switch around 4 years ago. That's for sure.
unfortunately.
Now, as much as I would have liked to be, I didn't even know it existed because it wasn't out. Um, but apart from that, I have podcasted on my own about 4 times. Doing my own podcast with my partner, which was I put it up on my YouTube channel. It was like a hobby that I was kind of trying to get into doing more last year, but school pretty much put a big like I don't know cancellation notice on that because school is hard, and when you're in university, it's difficult to balance doing lots and lots of classes, and in my case, stages with podcasting as a hobby. It's an extensive hobby, and it didn't really suit my timetable. So there you go. I think now that I have a little more free time, I have like at least one day of the week where I'm like properly free. It was a
Yes.
good time to start again, and you invited me to do this, and I agreed.
Yeah, it's something I've been trying to get off the ground for like almost a year now. Um, I'm kind of spread thin on a bunch of projects, kind of everywhere right now. So I'm trying to like pick on ones that I can focus on and actually like accomplish, and that way, instead of feeling like I'm not doing anything all the time because nothing gets done, at least I'll have a couple of things that get completed that I can point at and be like, all right, it's not a total loss.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true, and you do get a nice sense of accomplishment when you are finished recording. And you listen to the audio for the first time, and you're like, "I'm gonna hate this in like
my
4
voice
hours." But
sounds
right
so
now,
weird.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
But right now, it's the best.
Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
all
like
good.
exactly on my at work today, all day I was just like, oh, I'm so hype. This is gonna be good.
Alrighty.
So, You want to dive into the week?
Yeah, I
Did you
suppose that
have a
sounds like an
week?
idea. I had a week. It's Wednesday, so I've had like half a week.
Well, I mean, I
But
guess yeah, this is
I've
the
had
first
I've
one,
had
so
previous weeks.
yeah.
I've had previous weeks.
Well, it'll be a 7 day window for the next podcast at least.
I guess I can burn through some of the games that I've played recently, or that I've bought and started playing. Uh, I did. So I guess context. The only gaming console I own that isn't a PC or a 3DS is a Switch. But the thing with my Switch is that, uh, due to my income being pretty nice and steady, I can get like a game once every 2 weeks. So I try to get a new game once every 2 weeks just to kind of expand that library and kind of expand what I'm getting, whether or not it's digital or physical. If it's digital, usually I buy two or three a week,
Mhm.
especially if they're the cheaper titles. So recently, I've purchased two console titles that I've really been enjoying. Kirby Star Allies, which is
Yeah.
uh, really fun game, and I mean the Kirby games are just in general
Name
kind of
one
built
bad
around the
Kirby game. It is impossible. Moving
it's
on.
it's pretty much not possible. It's really difficult. So that's going to be one that I guess through. I've beaten like the main story, but I beat it on one of the more rudimentary difficulty levels. So
Mhm.
I think I'm going to play it again and start, but I haven't even gotten like half the bonuses. But I've been enjoying the game. I guess like the main difference between this Kirby game and the other ones is that in this game you can recruit like allies
Yeah.
to play through a level along with you, and they're all just kind of like the regular Kirby enemies. You press the X button, and you get like a little star that you can throw, and it turns an enemy from an enemy to your friend. You can have four at a time, and the game uses the mechanic interestingly. Like you can kind of go through a level, and then there will be like a function that you need to perform as a group that'll help you progress through it, or just kind of expanding combat options and just kind of experimenting with whose powers work really well with who. Like you can combine powers, and you can do a whole bunch of fun stuff like that, and
The
they
old
switch up the
wombo
gameplay.
combo.
Exactly, you can give them the old wombo combo. So it's a pretty fun and enjoyable little Kirby game. It reminds me a lot of the one that they did for, I think it was for Wii U. There was like a 3D Kirby game for Wii U, but I played it at my friends, and that is reminiscent of this one. Or like I guess more commonly the Crystal Shards for Nintendo 64.
Yeah,
Which
it looks kind of in the same vein because Crystal
yeah,
Shards was the first one where you could uh, combo the enemy types. So you could have like a
yeah,
fire sword or like it was fucking
exactly, or like
rad.
Fire Wings or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can still do that here. You can put an element to pretty much every item that's a weapon. You can elementize it, which is pretty rad. There's like a whole bunch of options. It's not as open as like a game like Kirby Squeak Squad for the DS, where you like able to like pretty much just combine any two powers and that might generate a new power.
Yeah.
But it's pretty fun. Like I'm enjoying it a lot. Hopefully,
Have you played any of the multiplayer yet?
I'm not, but I'm keen to. I definitely would like to. I've not got too many multiplayer titles for Switch, which is something I'm working on
Mm.
because I love playing games local multiplayer, but most of my friends don't have Switches, and
Yeah.
the friends that can play locally, they have to be physically over. So I play a lot of solo adventure games, and which I guess transitions me nicely into my next game that I got. I bought Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Ooh, I've heard some
which
stuff about that
yeah,
game.
there is stuff to say about it. I
I
guess for
heard the
context,
accent is ever changing for the main character. The voice actor couldn't
yes,
pick one, and it's very strange.
it is very strange. In fact, a lot of the accents and the voice stuff in it is pretty weird, I have to say. Um, but I guess before I do that, Xenoblade, it's a large scale 3D. I want to say open world in air quotes RPG
Yeah,
with
big
a
air
real time
quotes.
battle system. Yeah, a real time battle system, and it's a very system heavy RPG. I want to say it's reminiscent of games like Dark Cloud, or I mean Xenogears, which it's part of
Yeah,
the same
which is
series.
its predator. Yeah. Just-
Exactly, but it's a Xeno game, so it's a very system heavy RPG with like a very in depth and heavily developed world. Um, but it's a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, which came out for the Wii and then was subsequently re-released on 3DS, which is where I played it. I bought it and I played it, and I really enjoyed it. Um, but I have a couple of this game in particular. The previous Xenoblade Chronicles, I felt the world and storytelling and characters were a little more ambitious or interesting than this game. In the previous game, the world that you're in was like two giant robots who had killed each other at the same time, and their swords crossed and formed a bridge between the two of them, and then wildlife and stuff grew on the two robots, and that was like the world you were on. Giant robots like sitting in like a spectral space ocean with like a bridge of their
Shit.
swords connecting them. It was fucking cool. It
That's
was a
fucking
really
hype.
cool. It was a really good world, and I really enjoyed the story because of that world. The world that I'm in this game, it's a little more standard. It's kind of like an endless cloud ocean, and there's like basically every continent or island that you go to is like a giant titan, kind of like the previous game, but they're more like big dragons or like world turtles, that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a bunch of disc worlds. But it's a little less interesting of a setting, I think, because I've seen other fantasy kind of do similar things before. And the adversaries in the previous game were all kind of mechanoids, and it was kind of like humans, or they call them homs versus mecha, like robots.
Yeah.
And in this, it's kind of like humans and furries and kind of fantasy creatures
The
kind of
only thing I know about the series is that at one point, one of the games, some dude just fists one of the Robo Girls, and like that had to be edited out before it came overseas.
That sounds like a Xeno game, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the only thing
That's
I know about the game
there's a lot of
series.
anime bullshit in these games.
Yeah, it looks like it. The armor is,
It's a
it's,
big anime RPG.
yeah, the armor is designed anime-y. I'll give it
That
that.
I want to say the thing about this game that I think differentiates it from the previous game is that in the last game you had one sword called the Monado, and the Monado you could change kind of power functions, and
Okay.
it would change the abilities of the character. In this game, you have multiple swords that kind of have like two or three functions each, and the swords are kind of tied to character called a blade. So the blades are kind of like Pokemon. You can kind of collect like a thing, and you
Gotta
you
catch 'em
link it.
all.
You exactly you like your characters, and they switch between three of them on the fly during battle.
Hmm.
So you start off with one called Pyra, and she's just kind of like a sword, like that's what her blade looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just get a whole bunch more as the game progresses. So far, I'm not terribly, uh, you know, far into the game's story, so I've met like three or four other blades. But the character designs on the blades are really cool. Sometimes they're a little more human-like, but the ones that are less human-like are really interesting looking. Like they've kind of got a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure stand design aesthetic going for them.
Sick.
So they're very like, humanoid, but also mechanoid, a little
Yeah.
animalistic. Some of them are just like one of them is just straight up a tiger, like that's what the character is, and the sword is not really a sword. It's like two chakrams with blades on them. But yeah, so some of them are a little non-standard. Like the only other blade that I've equipped to my main character so far is like there's like a pair of bladed gauntlets. So the fighting style of my character has changed when I switch between the two, from a sword to like punching.
To punchy fists.
Yeah,
I like the
exactly.
punchy fist
To punchy
weapons.
fist. Punchy boys are fun.
Punchy
I like
boys.
playing as the punchy boys. But yeah, so as you were saying, there have been things said about the game's voice acting.
Yeah,
I
where
I have to,
his accent just
yeah.
fucking will change continents.
Yeah, exactly. So the main character, Rex, I'm not entirely certain if the voice is North American or if he's from England, but most of the game's cast seems to be from like the British Isles, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England, and they all have respectively different kinds of English accents. But some of these characters, they're really switching between two or three, and it makes me wonder if the game's voice was, the voice really recorded in like the UK or Ireland, because some of them just don't sound like, you know, a proper kind of accent. there's a lot of characters that have like Scottish accents, and I'm like, okay, that's like a Glaswegian or Edinburgh Scottish accent, and I can tell. But then the main character Rex switches between like almost a Cockney South London accent and like a hard like Welsh Game of Thrones type accent.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty much what I've heard.
he either sounds like Jon Snow or like
Gimli.
like a oi mate kind of guy.
Oh.
And it's kind of like a weird, it's a really weird and distracting thing occasionally. I don't think the voice performances are bad, mind you, but the accents are a little like
Strange. They're off.
that's a little strange. The English voices are okay. I kind of do prefer the Japanese voices, but
Yeah, well,
I
I
could play
mean,
through the game with English and it would be fine.
talking to a room full of weebs.
Exactly. But so far though, I've enjoyed the game. It plays nicely. What I like about the battle system is that apart from changing stuff on the fly, like the weapon, it hasn't really done too much to step away from being the same battle system from the previous game, which I really did like. So how it works basically is you've got kind of your RPG kind of battle functions, but you preset them before you enter a battle. So you have like an auto thing that heals you,
So,
or you have abilities that also use a healing item.
like MMO kind of? Like you have your bar with your abilities and you
Yeah,
preset?
yeah. It's a little
Like
bit
Knights
like
of the
that,
Old
yeah.
Republic, yeah?
Yeah. So what happens is you're constantly attacking, like you automatically attack, but if you press a button when that when this like ability is
Okay,
loaded,
yeah.
you can change your auto attack into that ability and then wait for it to reload again.
Okay,
You
yeah.
have like four ability slots, so it is a little bit like an
So
MMORPG.
it's like turn-based,
Um,
but
yeah, it's turn based, but you're always attacking, and it is a real time system. You can move
yeah.
anywhere in the field of battle. You can run right the fuck away if you don't want to fight somebody.
How about
All the
he?
enemies are present, but it's all right. I like how it plays.
That sounds pretty rad.
It's fun. I like that kind of RPG battle system because as much as I enjoy something like an active time turn based system like
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 4 or 6, or any of the good
Not 8.
battle systems. Not 8. I am not a fan of
We
8's
don't
battle
talk about
system.
8.
There's things I like about 8, and there are things that I don't like. And one of the things I don't like is that goddamn battle system.
It's okay. Square Enix doesn't even like 8.
Yeah, it's true. As we'll probably talk about later.
Yeah. We'll
But
see.
anyway, so Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there's some things about it. Voice acting, a little weird, but I'm not far enough yet to say if I really like the story or not. I'm engaged enough to keep playing, which is good.
At least
But
there's that.
it's not as impressive as the
Oh,
first game.
okay. I want to ask you because you played Octopath. Does that shit
I have,
itself?
yes.
Because I've heard that it shits itself, and that's why
Okay,
everyone was super hype
I-
at first, and then everyone played it, and then they were like,
nobody talked about
"Oh,
I want to say for a certain kind of gamer, it absolutely does. Whether or not I'd make that an objective statement, I couldn't say, because I actually really enjoyed that game, like the whole way through. And I think the thing that most people don't like about it is that they assumed the game was going to kind of combine all the characters properly throughout the narrative instead of it at the end.
yeah,
And they don't really do that. It really is just kind of like there are points near the end of the game where the stories converge, but for the most part, it's pretty much like you're playing 8 separate mini RPG stories, and the interaction between characters is limited to like skits. So that's kind of unfortunate, but the visuals and battle system of that game,
Well, I mean, the visuals
Were-
fucking look insane to me. It's
yeah,
kind
the
of
ga- I
got
mean,
that.
it's amazing.
I don't even know what to compare it to really. Like the game just it looks
Yeah.
beautiful. If they could make something that was maybe a little more. I don't even like. I don't know what the problem is with it because I haven't played it. I've just heard that the story kind of like at some point you're just like, it's okay.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is
There's
classic.
like
Nothing's
there's
new.
yeah, there's nothing about that game's visuals that I could feasibly compare to anything else.
Yeah.
Like it's
And you
neat looking
can't
game.
really shit on it either. It is I
No,
well
no,
I don't think you can anyway. I think it's beautiful.
I it's untouchably amazing, just visual wise. So that's one that I really enjoyed. But the battle system in particular was what I liked about it because it was kind of a I want to say like a riff on the classic active time battle system, but it combined elements from the Bravely Default games
Oh man, I
with
okay, so
a risk reward
yeah,
type
that'll
battle
that'll go
system.
into my week actually. Bravely Default,
All
so
right. Oh, you've been playing.
oh, I have I was
I would like to
actually
hear.
on the Nintendo eStore on my DS because I was going to my girlfriend's mom's house for the weekend and I was like, I don't want to have nothing to do. Um, so I was on the eStore shop thing and I was looking at Xenoblade Chronicles, like the 3D one,
Yeah, yeah,
and Bravely
the first
Default,
game.
and then I was like, I don't know. So I went with Bravely Default, and so far, not regretting my decision at all. Very
That
good.
is a very good game.
I've
Uh,
heard that it also
Solid.
shits itself near the end though, but I
I
mean,
I disagree,
all
but
right,
we'll when you get there, we'll have to talk about
yeah,
that because
I'll get there
I would like
eventually.
to know whether or not you agree with that consensus because that actually does seem to be the general consensus of the game. But I would beg to differ actually.
Yeah, the thing too right now is like I don't see how it could shit itself.
Yeah, because it
But
feels so perfect, right?
yeah, like it's a JRPG that I've been longing for, and I've got like Persona 5 sitting on my shelf waiting for me to buy a PS4 so that I can actually play it. And this was kind of my coping mechanism.
Well, this is that's not a bad one to go. And you know what? I would highly recommend Bravely Second if you actually really like this one
Yeah, actually, the reason
because it's
I started the Bravely series was
yeah.
I played the Bravely Second demo when it came out,
Oh
like a few
yeah,
years
and you just
back, and I
loved
was
it.
like, "Oh fuck, that's really good." And then I kind of fell off before it came out. I just like stopped playing my 3DS because I had put like fucking 500 hours into Monster Hunter in it, and like I was just like, I'm tired of holding this thing. I don't want to look at it anymore. So my 3DS like honestly took like a 3 year break from like pretty much when Bravely Second came out till like
Okay.
now, like honestly, just
My 3DS was always my JRPG machine. Like
yeah,
I want to say I have almost 50 games for the thing, and of the 50, over half of them are JRPGs without question. Like I purchased so many games for that thing in like the span that I had it because it was the only console I played for like 5 years.
yeah,
And in that 5 years, I accumulated such a collection of RPGs and the Bravely series. Uh,
is up
both of them,
there.
they're up there in my top 5 games for the console. Both of them because I got so much mileage out of them. I don't even know how many hours I put into both, but
Yeah, well, I
definitely
mean that's the thing.
definitely
Like
more than reasonable.
while I was looking at the eShop, I went onto my computer and it was like Metacritic best 3DS RPGs, and like I had to
There we
fucking
go.
like just trim out the like, oh, I already played that one. I don't care about Ultra Sun or Moon.
Yeah, I have all the Pokemon games for the 3DS too.
Yeah,
Well,
well, I
not I
mean,
don't have like each version of each game, but I have like the major ones. So I have like one of each. I have Moon and Ultra Moon. I've got Alpha Sapphire, and I've also got Pokemon. But I really like some of those 3DS Pokemon games. Sun and Moon in particular, more so than any of the others, I think are almost kind of like the benchmark in terms of what makes a quality Pokemon game. But my favorite Pokemon games are actually some of the DS titles, Black and White too. Those
yeah,
are
we've
best
talked
games in the
about it a
series.
little bit before. I still have my copy of White just sitting up on my shelf, waiting for me to get the
What a
courage to
brilliant!
play.
I want to say White 2 is my favorite game in the series, hands down. Like
Clip
it's
it.
just amazing. It's an amazing game. I love just how many Pokemon you can acquire within it. I mean, it's nowhere close to the amount you can acquire in like Ultra Moon,
Yeah.
but it's like just the right amount for me where I was able to bring all of my Pokemon from all my previous Game Boy and DS games, all my team in that game, and I went and I did the Pokemon World Tournament and fought all of the old gym leaders and Elite Four members and champions, and that was really fun.
Sick.
I
I'm
I
gonna
have
I'm
very
gonna have to
fond
pick it up,
memories of
but
that game.
definitely after I'm done Bravely Default, and maybe even after I'm done Bravely Second. Honestly, because I think I just want to mainline those two for now.
I think
Uh,
Bravely Second has a better narrative than Bravely Default, but
because they
I
were
think
like, "Oh, we gotta fix this."
but I think the jobs in Bravely Default are better than the jobs in Bravely Second.
Man, the job system right
So the
now is so
battles, yeah,
fucking rad.
isn't it amazing?
It's
Like
really
the
cool.
wait till you get everything, and you will be like beside yourself with glee at how much you can do and customize.
Yeah,
Because I
I've
think I
heard that it
have
gets
I
fucking
have the
out of
most.
hand.
It's so customizable. It's insane, and they carry over pretty much that kind of element of customization to blah, what is it? Octopath Traveler. So all of those like jobs and the way you can cross over job abilities and stuff,
Yeah,
they all bring it back to Octopath Traveler. The way you can have a character that has two jobs, same thing. You do that on Octopath Traveler. The battle system in Octopath Traveler is very similar to the battle system in Bravely Default. Like it's just it's a really cool kind of iteration on the Bravely Default system. But I'm happy you're playing Bravely Default because that's a great game.
yeah. I'm also happy. Like I've been going in. Um, oh yes. Before we officially move on to my week, there is one topic that I've been itching to hear your
Okay.
your rage.
Titans.
Maybe I don't even know anymore.
No, honestly, Glee.
Glee. All
Um,
right.
yeah, you'll hear it. You'll hear it.
All right.
So, context. I love comic books. I've been collecting comic books for about 10 years. I have a massive collection, and my favorite characters are from DC Comics. That is not, I want to say, the popular consensus amongst people who
Nerd.
watch movies, right? A lot of a lot of people have a very negative view of DC because those terrible DC movies that they've been making
But
lately.
they're so
And those
edgy. How
movies
could
are
you hate
awful.
them?
Exactly. They're so awful. They're awful, awful, joyless films, except for Wonder Woman, which is really good actually.
Yeah,
Wonder Woman is like the only,
the
and I think
fucking
Aquaman looks more
sl-
similar to Wonder Woman than the other. So we'll see how Aquaman. But so far though, most movies, with the exception of Wonder Woman and possibly Aquaman, are just terrible. But I love DC, and my dedication to them as like a company and to those characters is like paramount to my identity as like a comic book reader. And amongst my favorite DC characters are the Teen Titans, specifically the new Teen Titans from the 1980s series, The New Teen Titans, which was by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. That's the series that introduced the characters that most people are familiar with. So Beast Boy, as a member of the Titans, Raven,
best boy. You
Starfire,
mean?
yeah, best boy, Starfire, who is one of my favorite superheroes, Raven, and of course Nightwing premiered in that comic, and Cyborg, who is also one of my favorite superheroes. So all of these great characters premiered in that comic,
An
and they,
all-around
along with
lovable cast of teenagers.
yeah, a bunch of goofs who I really really like. Um, and I've collected, I want to say everything that's currently available to collect of that run of the comic. I have, and then I have the sequel comic that Wolfman and Perez wrote years later, which was kind of like a sequel to the end of the series, and that is a nice little comic as well. But yeah, regardless, I'm a big fan of Teen Titans, and I'm a big fan of DC's live action TV shows that they've been doing lately. So a lot of those are on the CW. You have Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, The Flash, and Arrow, which I've been following since their first season, all of which I thoroughly enjoy. And soon Batwoman is going to be joining that group of shows. So they've got their own little kind of
Oh, so
cinematic universe going
they
on
are
TV
making a
with.
Batwoman show?
Oh, oh yeah,
Huh.
in
Oh
like
wait,
a
yeah, they were gonna make her.
couple months.
Yeah, okay, because it was Ruby Rose. And, okay, yeah, I remember now.
Yeah. So Ruby Rose is going to be playing her in that universe, and they're going to be incorporating that show into that little kind of continuity.
Yeah.
So that what's the big news, I suppose, because it's the first time a Bat character has been incorporated into like a major DC TV series continuity that wasn't animated. So that's going to be really really cool. Um, but I'm excited for that. Um, anyway, those TV shows are all really, really good, and I've been
Unlike
enjoying
the
them
Marvel
thoroughly.
ones.
Yeah, what's unfortunately most of the live action Marvel shows are bad, but their movies are pretty good.
Mhm.
So it's like it balances out where DC's got shitty movies and good
They
TV,
got the good, yeah.
and Marvel's got shitty TV shows and like pretty great movies. So there's a nice kind of balance there, and they keep themselves in check, I think. And then comics wise, they're about equal in terms of quality right now. So it's not so bad. But yeah, needless to say, all of that was just to contextualize me having watched the new live action Teen Titans show, which is titled Titans.
And
And
was full
that,
of angst upon
yes,
announcement.
the trailer came out and the internet had things to say. It
Like
featured,
fuck
amongst other things,
Batman. Batman.
yeah, fuck Batman, exactly. But yeah, the trailer featured, amongst other things, extremely, extremely, extremely violent fight scenes, like ridiculously violent.
Like
Um,
the only context I had for Teen Titans uh
is the animated
is
series?
the animated series, and I was fucking super into that shit. So this is a very hard contra. I guess it's totally dissonant to what
It
I was
is.
used to.
Very.
It is
It's very
confused.
dissonant. Yes, and you know what? Even if you've read the comics, which are marginally more serious than that TV series, they're about, when the series kind of got its most serious, the animated series,
Yeah,
it was like that most of the time in the comic, but it wasn't edgy serious. It was like, no, they want to talk about a major issue like consent or racism or identity or teenagers,
hmm
and shit like that, that
you gotta
a
ease
comic
the kids into
could
their
address.
their turmoil.
Exactly. um, and that's kind of what the comics were always like, kind of like the most intense parts of that animated series. This is far more hardcore than, at least in my memory, any of the Titans runs that I've read, including the current one and including the New 52 one, which was pretty like 90s comics levels of edgy at times. Um, this is even edgier than those. And when you watch the trailer, it's easy to mistake that edginess as very try hard, and you wouldn't be mistaken if it was kind of trying a little too hard, because but the trailer showed Robin beating the shit out of people and practically killing them, and then just going, "Fuck Batman."
I didn't pull the trigger. Batman did.
Exactly. And there was like, edgy stuff with Raven going, "I've got a demon inside me," and all that sort of stuff, and Starfire looking like a hooker. And yeah, Beast Boy being like the only character in the trailer that seemingly wasn't upset at the entire world for seemingly no reason. But suffice it to say, I actually watched the first episode, which premiered last Saturday, and my partner and I, we agreed, let's watch the Edgy Titan show because it's gonna be fun,
Let's do
and
it.
maybe it's just gonna be bad enough to be enjoyable. It was surprisingly good enough to be enjoyable.
Damn. They
It's
M Night
very camp.
Shyamalan us.
Exactly. The show is extremely campy. It's full on camp. So whenever it's not being super kind of exploitation movie levels of violent and with kind of the swearing, it's being like kind of like the costumes are goofy, and though the dialogue is like goofy, almost tongue in cheek at times, pretty
Mildly
goofy. Uh,
self-aware.
yeah, I want to say it is. It's got a measure of self awareness that I didn't think it would have, and that went a long way to getting me to enjoy the tone of the show and to me getting into it. Um, but yeah, so Titans, I actually really. I want to say that the cast, for the most part, we've met all of them save for Beast Boy, who we only kind of meet at the first episode, right at the very end.
Because you gotta
There's like
save
a
Best
small
Boy
scene
for
with him.
last.
Exactly. But so far the cast has been good. Brenton Thwaites plays Robin, or Dick Grayson, and he's pretty good in the role. I want to say in terms of like live action Robins, he's 100% the best one we've ever gotten, because he's the only one that was kind of trying to do something with the role that wasn't 100% comedic,
Yeah.
and or 100% bad like Batman Forever and Batman
Those are the best movies. I can't
Exactly.
even say it.
Well,
I
they're
can't
the
even
best
do
for
it.
certain
Yeah.
they're the best in certain contexts.
They're the best funny
They have the
Batman. They're
best
the best Batman comedies.
exactly.
Bring
And they
back
have
that.
the funniest bat nipples.
I don't know if the
But
funniest or the most glorified.
gratuitous.
Just,
They're pretty erect
did
in
you see the
most
Nicolas
movies.
Cage Superman suit ones that were almost equally as bad?
Oh, I watched the Nicolas Cage Superman movie documentary actually,
Oh God.
which is really good, and it was made by a good director who just recently passed away, John Schnepp. He was the co-creator of
He
Metalocalypse and
looks like
Adventure
Tommy
Brothers.
Wiseau. Sorry, I'm looking at
Yeah, I know.
pictures. He looks like Tommy Wiseau so
Nicolas
bad.
Cage with the Tommy Wiseau hair and Superman.
Hmm.
Uh, that movie could have been really good if it wasn't for the fact that the studio fucked with it. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
that can
going
be
off
a
topic.
story for another day.
Oh yeah, I have things to say about that movie too. I have things to say about a lot of like unmade DC Comics movies because there are a lot of them. But some of them that could have been really good if they had actually gone to this thing because you read the screenplays for them and stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, that was a really good screenplay. That could have been an awesome movie. Why didn't they do it? And then there's a whole bunch of stupid reasons why. But one of them being, I guess they didn't want money, which makes no sense. But
Yeah, we've got enough. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
exactly, we got enough. We're Warner Brothers. We own everything that Disney doesn't. So there we go. But
We'll do the exact opposite as Disney and be as successful.
yeah, basically, yes, that's kind of what they've been doing. But so yeah, Titans. Brenton Thwaites is a good Robin. I hesitate to remember the name of the girl who plays Raven, but for the actor who kind of seemed like she'd be the worst in the whole show in the trailer, she's not bad. She's actually quite. She gets a lot of emotion into the role for as little screen time as she kind of has. A lot of the episode is dedicated to. I want to say it's like 3/4 of the episode is dedicated to Raven, and then another quarter of the episode is dedicated to Starfire, and then like the rest of it's dedicated to Robin. And then Beast Boy gets like such a minute part at the very end that it's pretty much just like a credit sting.
Yeah.
So it's nothing. It's like a last minute scene before they hit the credits, but to tease the next episode. So I really have enjoyed it so far. Anna Diop is a really good Starfire, even though she's kind of playing the character radically differently from any other iteration that I could think of so far. But the costume kind of looked like crap in the trailer. Because the lighting is different throughout the show where you see it, like a lot of the time where she's shooting her scenes, it's very snowy. It's kind of meant to be like Eastern Europe. So she contrasts really nicely with like the snow and the forest.
Yeah.
And it looks really neat. And then when she powers up, her skin gets all orange and fiery and stuff, so she looks a lot more like comic Starfire.
Hmm.
But and I just gotta say, she's beautiful. like she's a really gorgeous actor, and Starfire as a character is kind of meant to have a very ethereal, almost alien beauty to her because she's an alien and she's very beautiful. So I'd say it works really well for the character thus far. So I've enjoyed that. And
So far,
I
there's
guess, like I said,
only the one episode, right?
yeah, there's only one episode. Next episode's coming out on Saturday, so
Next week we will have a an update on the Titan.
Yeah, all I know about the episode so far is that it has the characters Hawk and Dove in it, who are a
Oof.
pair of
That sounds
characters
Z
who are
tier.
pretty cool. They're pretty Z tier, yeah. Like their powers are Hawk is really strong and Dove is really like agile. But they're both like they're like a crime fighting duo, and this version of the characters are a girl and a guy, so I believe they're dating, but it's like Hank Hall and Hope something.
Mm.
But they're cool characters in the comics for the most part. There's like a Rob Liefeld comic about them that's really bad, but for the most part they're cool.
You mean every
So-
Rob Liefeld comic?
Yeah, pretty much. Although to be fair, he has improved as an artist recently. He actually draws feet now.
Less pouches.
Less character the pouch. I think he got all pouched out after that.
Too many
But
pouches.
Titans thus far, enjoying it. Is it amazing? No, it's not making as strong an impression on me as something like Supergirl has recently, which like when that show started, it was not very good. and then like 7 episodes into the first season,
Character
they
development
like
happened.
they did like what yeah they did like one thing that recontextualized the entire show and made it so much better. And from that point onwards, it's always just been improving, and they've been bringing more cool comics characters, and it's gotten really good. And they're like on their fourth season now, and it's so far from what I've watched, I've really enjoyed the current season. Yeah, it possibly could pull a Supergirl, where the first episode's okay, and just steadily improves and
And then
improves,
just
and
fucking.
they're planning on introducing a whole bunch of other characters into this little corner of their live action universe, which is
Well,
going to
I
have like
I
the
feel
Doom
like if
Patrol.
from a business position, if you see the numbers and you see your shows are actually getting watched, whereas your movies are being like mocked, cause like, was it the Justice League movie came out and like I heard nothing really of it, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like most of the DCU shit
It's
besides
been
Wonder
nothing.
Woman. Wonder Woman's the only thing that like people said like, all right, that's you did it, that was good. Everything else like Batman versus Superman was like and
Hot garbage. Hot
yeah,
garbage. And I
you
saw that
smell it a mile
on its
away.
premiere. I saw
Ooh,
that when it premiered. Yeah,
was it
and
a
I saw
full
Suicide
theater of
Squad on the
crying
premiere too.
children?
It was a full Ultra AVX theater at
Oh,
Scotiabank downtown.
you went in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Eesh.
I was on the premiere. I had tickets. I reserved a seat. Like I was in.
Oh
And
man,
it was hot garbage, let me tell you. The
doesn't
theatrical cut of the movie is like one of the most like maimed edits I've ever seen of any film. And you can see just how maimed it is if you watch the extended edition, though I don't recommend it, which I have.
do
And
not
I
do
have to
it.
yeah, do not do it if you value your time. I do not. So I watched it, and it's not a good movie, but the editing is better.
Yeah,
All the things that make it bad are just the story being morally reprehensible. Which is in a lot of ways worse than it being poorly edited. But at least it was, well edited and morally reprehensible garbage.
they
So there we
tried.
go. They
Question
tried and
mark?
they big fail.
No, air quotes, air quotes.
Oh jeez. But it was a pretty rough going, that one, I have to say. So I'm pretty glad that they've kind of made marked improvements to improve their films since then. Even Justice League, like the fact that nobody had anything to say about it, bad or good, is an improvement over going, well, it was really bad.
I like to. I want to draw the comparison to the Solo movie that also came out, and I remember talking to my friend about it and being like, "Oh yeah, like, I wonder how that's gonna be." And it's like it's been out for like a week and a half. This was like a few
Yeah.
months ago, obviously.
Nobody heard anything.
Yeah, no, like I was like, "What?" It came out, and he was like, "Exactly." Maybe
Because nobody
don't.
talks about that movie on the internet, I don't know what the public's, I want to say, like, general perception of the movie is. But
I
from my perspective, I just watched it and I liked it.
It was okay.
It was
All right.
it was a, it
Because
was good.
I mean, it sounded like a flopped Star Wars movie, and not flopped as in like a bunch of people went to see it and it made $1 million, but it sucked. Prequels, but
Yeah.
as in flopped, like it wasn't clear that it was a Star Wars movie. Because like even Rogue One
Yeah,
was
that
like
was a very Star Warsy movie.
yeah, it was good, and the reception
Yeah, I liked
seemed
it.
pretty good. I liked it.
I really liked that movie.
I actually
I've
only
liked-
watched that
I've
movie
liked-
this year, but it was
I
good.
like most of the Star Wars movies that aren't the prequels. I pretty much like all of them. I really, I guess, controversial internet opinion, I really like The Last Jedi, and I think it's a brilliantly made movie. But I know that the entire internet would disagree with me on that, apparently.
Podcast canceled.
Podcast canceled. You like The Last Jedi. Man, I shouldn't even joke about that. People have gotten, like, threatened off of the internet because of it. But
Fuck it. Who cares? We're fine.
who
We're
cares?
yeah.
We're nobodies.
We'll
right now, at
conceal our
least.
yeah exactly. No one's listening.
We have no power levels to hide.
Once at episode like 120 when we have more followers and they go back to listen to episode 0.5, they'll be like, "Wait, what?" And then there will be pitchforks outside
And
our
then
doors.
we'll be canceled. But I liked Solo. It was all right. But anyway, yeah, being okay is better than being garbage, but being good is better than being okay.
Okay, but
So
that's
yeah,
yeah.
so there we go.
You should always strive to be your best. That's what
Yes,
Naruto teaches
exactly.
us.
Thank you, Naruto, the only teacher that ever mattered.
The
He
only
is the
teacher that
Hokage.
never studied and was born with all his gifts.
Exactly. Wow, that's a really Randian outlook, actually. I know
Handed the
Naruto.
silver spoon of the Hokage. Anyway,
Okay, okay. But yeah, so that's what my week was like. Titans, one thumb up, not two, one thumb up.
one thumb
But
up.
we'll see where
How
it
many
goes. I
thumbs do
want
you
to.
have? You've been to Sharon Noble quite a few times.
There we go. Well,
1 out of
one,
5 thumbs are
one
up
out of
right
five,
now.
three hairy thumbs up.
Three hobbit toes.
Ooh, yeah.
Mm.
But yeah. So yeah, Titans, one thumb up. I recommend people watch it to see if they enjoy it. If they don't enjoy it, all the power to you. Maybe I'm just too enamored with DC movies
Your
that aren't
DC bias
completely
is too
garbage.
strong.
Exactly. But it's like it's not even a bias because I like Marvel a lot. I just like DC too. It's just how it is. It's DC is like those are the characters that I grew
I
up
like the good
liking
one
as opposed
and
to
the
Marvel.
bad one.
Yeah, I like both. I love the bad one and I like the good
Well, I mean, I feel
one.
like it's really up to
As far
the.
as like most people are concerned.
Yeah,
As far as the public's concerned,
if
I
you
really
ask the
like
internet,
shitty
you're
one, and
wrong.
I like the bad one too. But anyway, so that was my week. How about you, Ben?
Sick. My week, as we got into a little bit earlier, was flipping a coin to see what I was buying on the Nintendo eShop and getting lucky and getting Bravely Default. Very into that game so far. I've been kind of, like I said, I've been jonesing for my JRPG, and my Steam library right now is not JRPG, and I couldn't figure out what to get, and I can't really use my PS2 or anything right now to play the old Personas to get the itch. Um, so I decided on Bravely Default. Really good game so far. Really enjoying the narrative.
Yeah,
The gameplay is
it's
fucking.
fun.
Oh, the Brave system and the default system is so good.
It is. It's really
It's
satisfying.
it's
Isn't
it's it. It's almost what Shin Megami Tensei does, where if you hit the weak point, you get the bonus attack,
it?
but
Mm.
it's more of a like dice roll of like, do I use this bonus attack now? Oh no! Like before I was used to the mechanic and stuff. One of the first boss actually, I made everyone brave like an idiot,
Oh, yeah.
and then like I was like, oh fuck, that's 4 turns in a row for everyone, and I used my healer to brave. What was I thinking? Like I just kind of zoned out and was hitting buttons, and then I was like, oh no, I fucked up. But like once
It
you get
really
used
works
to
for
it,
grinding.
yeah,
It
it's
really works
oh
for
man,
grinding.
when you have the low level ones and you just brave, it's like it clears out in no time. So yeah, I'm kind of getting into that slowly. I've been playing a lot of Danganronpa because they went on sale on Steam a while back for like $8
Mhm.
each. So I got 1 and 2. I just finished the first trial on 1. That game's fucking good, and I'm disappointed in myself that I have not played it before. Um, yeah, just the narrative is really fucking good. I'm enjoying it very much.
Mhm. Mhm. And I guess the characters, you really like them. They're pretty likable bunch of
Some
kids.
of them, I was convinced one of them was the first guilty person, and like I was like, oh, it's gotta be fucking that one. It's gotta just because I hated them so much, and I was like, I just want you gone.
I really I've never properly played Danganronpa. Uh, I probably really like them.
Have you played Ace Attorney?
I love Ace Attorney. Yeah, and that's
It's
what everybody tells me. If you like
yeah,
Ace, play Danganronpa.
yeah, exactly. Uh,
I probably should. I should
Speaking
get
of
on
Ace
that.
Attorney, I've also started playing Ace Attorney. I'm in a
Oh,
very
okay.
courtroomy mood, I guess.
I suppose your soul burns for justice.
My soul burns for justice and child murder.
There we go. Which
There it
there is
is.
plenty of in both.
Yeah. Um, in Ace Attorney, I got to the first, to Edgeworth, where he is accused.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I am right now.
That's
But
a
then I
good
picked up
case.
Bravely Default, and I just kind of was like, I'm gonna do this now, cause JRPG, and I don't want to have too many crime dramas rolling at once.
There's a lot of crime going on there,
Yes, it's
and
it's been a
and
crimey week.
a lot of RPG subplots.
RP crime. Uh,
A lot of crime RPG.
mm,
That'd be fun.
are you
I'm
committing
playing.
the crimes,
I'm
or are
playing
you...
a good murder mystery game. So
What
there
is
you
it?
go. It's do you know Read Only Memories? It's
No.
I guess like a 32-bit point and click for you can get it on Switch now. It's called 2064 Read Only Memories.
Hmm.
It's a really nice pixel adventure game, but it's a murder mystery. So it has been very crimey.
Man, I love these crime games. I'm on a crime game
Crime games is
spree.
good. I like solving crimes, doing crimes.
Solving crimes, doing crimes while solving crimes.
Yeah, doing a crime to solve a crime,
Mm-hmm.
always perfect.
It's the
Exactly
best.
what I like to do.
Other than that, something I've been hankering to scream about to an empty void for a while. Well, no, not for a while, I
Alright.
guess. I binged the Haunting on Hill House, the Haunting of Hill House.
Haunting of Hill House. That's a TV series?
Netflix. Hold on.
Netflix.
The Haunting. Yeah, okay. The Haunting of Hill House. It is a Netflix series based on a book that already has 2 movie adaptations.
Oh, okay. The House on Haunted Hill?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
But it's a Netflix series. It is. I'm putting it down right now. Legit one of the best Netflix series I've seen in the past. Like. I like it
Oh.
more than I like Stranger Things.
It's by Mike Flanagan.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's-
Mike Flanagan's like one of the best horror directors.
Dude,
working today, so
It
that's
is so
awesome.
good. And
He
like
just- he
the
did,
first couple of
he did
episodes,
Oculus, which I really love.
he did what?
Oculus? Do you know the movie Oculus?
I
It's
do
like
not, but
the
I will.
mirror horror movie
I will
about
check it out now.
That movie fucked me up when I saw it. That is one of my favorite horror movies of like the last 5 years. Came out in when did it come out in 2013? So yeah, that's a really good movie.
All right, well, I'm
But,
gonna have to check that out.
If you like this show, you'll probably like this. Anyway, continue.
Yes. As I was saying, fucking one of the best horror things I've seen in a good minute. Some jump scares, but none of them are like. I didn't feel like any of them were too cheap.
Oh, that's good. They
Yeah.
felt earned.
I don't know about earned. I don't know. They worked, and I didn't feel like it was like really. Come on, like they had bearing on the plot, and like it's really cool because it's a lot of focus on. It's focused on what happened at the house, but also the trauma of dealing with the like being a child and living in a crazy ass haunted house.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to not spoil too much shit, because it is like it came out like not long ago, like this year. I think maybe even like the week we started watching it. But me and my girlfriend, we binged the fuck out of that. Finished it in a weekend. The only, it's not even really a downside, but the last episode starts in such a way that I was like, oh, fuck you. And then it rolled back and fixed it. And I was like, oh, shit. But then it re-ends in a similar fashion where I was like, you could have ended this like 5 minutes earlier and it would have been a better ending.
Oh, okay.
But I highly recommend it. Even with the like kind of like ending. Super great. Really fun time. I went in hesitantly with the first couple of episodes. Was kind of like, oh, we're doing this. I don't know if you know the show This Is Us.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it does a lot of that time skippy stuff where it'll be like, "Oh, here's them as a kid
Okay.
and here's them as the adult dealing with the thing that happened as they were a kid." And I was like, "Really? You just took the This Is Us formula and made it spoopy." But it fucking
Okay.
works. It like I was hesitant at first, but by the end I was just like, "Fuck yeah." Um
All right.
but again, the ending kind of like was like, "Oh, okay." You could like honestly, if they cut 5 minutes, I think, off the ending, it would have been perfect. I would have been like, all right, cool, that is great. Um, yeah, that's the only real criticism I have for it.
I'm gonna check that out because I actually haven't heard anything about it, and I'm surprised because I'm a really big fan of Mike Flanagan. So
Yeah, but
that's on my watch list now.
like I'm saying, I think it came out like literally last week, and we
Okay.
stumbled upon it this weekend at her mom's house, and we were like, all right, we're
I
going
can't
in.
believe like I haven't even seen like a Fangoria or like Bloody Disgusting article on it, which is kind of surprising.
Huh.
Uh, which yeah, it's weird because like I follow a bunch of like horror related news pages and websites, and none of I haven't maybe I haven't been paying attention. I'm gonna have to check it out.
You
But
missed out.
that sounds really good, and it might fill the void that I have to fill because I watched Castle Rock, the Stephen King series that they did on Amazon Prime, and or no, was it Hulu or Amazon Prime? It was one of the two. But they did like a Stephen King series called Castle Rock,
Yeah.
and it was set kind of like it wasn't based on a particular Stephen King story, but it was set in like the town of Castle Rock, which is really prevalent in a lot of his novels, and like took elements and characters and locations from them and told a story
Oh
with
shit.
that setting. You okay?
Yeah. I just no, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right.
Something dropped.
But Castle Rock was good. And once the season was done, I'm like, I want more good spooks to watch. So this is gonna be a good spook to watch. I need a good spooky show.
It is definitely up there.
I'm gonna check
If
it out.
not that, the Apostle, I think it was called Apostle.
The
Was,
Apostle.
hold on. It's the yeah, Apostle. Another movie on Netflix. Was it? Yeah. Apostle. No, okay,
Oh,
no, it's
I've
just
heard
called
of it.
Apostle. It was pretty good.
Gareth Evans. Oh, the guy who directed The Raid directed it.
Yes, that is the
Okay,
man.
I'm really into that already. Oh, and it's got Dan Stevens, who's in one of my favorite horror movies, The Guest.
The guest.
Have you ever heard of The Guest? It's
I
a
feel like I've heard of it. I might
horror
not have
thriller.
seen it.
It's directed by Adam Wingard, who's the guy who did the Death Note movie. But he's a really
Ooh.
good. Here's the thing: he's a good director. Otherwise, it really sucks that that movie wasn't good. But directed and edited by Adam Wingard. But Simon Barrett wrote it, who's like a pretty good writer, and they both did Your Next, which was a pretty good horror movie. But Dan Stevens, who's in The Apostle, he's the main character, plays I guess, the primary antagonist of The Guest, and I really like The Guest. It's a really good thriller. It's a terrifying movie.
I'll have to
It's
check
kind of
that
like
out too.
it's kind of like The Monkey's Paw, like the short story
Oh
The
yeah,
Monkey's
yeah,
Paw,
yeah, yeah.
where like a guy comes back from, or like a what's that other really good, oh, Death Dream, one of my favorite horror movies, directed by the guy who directed the original Black Christmas. But this movie called Death Dream, very similar to The Guest, where a kind of guy comes back to see his family from the war, or like goes somewhere, and they invite him in, and he's not the person he seems he is, and it's kind of like a you've invited a monster into your home kind of
Yeah,
story. I love that sort of shit. It's really cool. So The Guest does that really well, and yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, so it's super duper cool.
sorry, I am super sick. Being a bike messenger sucks. All right, yeah. If not that, I've also been binging JoJo. Uh,
So you're powering through it to get
yeah,
to part 5.
yeah. I'm at part 4 right now, about halfway. There's 30
Okay, so
something
you're pretty
episodes. So
close.
I'm on episode like 15, 16 now. I just saw
Nice.
Heaven's Door, and that's a fucking cool stand. Um,
Yes, Heaven's Door is a very cool stand.
dude.
It's one of the, and of course, Rohan Kishibe, definitely not Hirohiko Araki's self-insert character.
Yeah, no, not at
Nope,
all. Didn't nope.
not at all. Definitely
No,
not.
I like I
That
started
stand power is definitely not
I
something he would
fucking
want.
dude. Oh man. I started that episode and he was like, "I'm a manga artist." I was like, "There's a fucking plug-in right there."
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the fact that he's got like a billion short stories written about him. I have like
Yeah.
this JoJo manga that they sold at the Louvre, and it's Rohan at the Louvre.
Oh
That's
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
called
yeah, yeah. I
Rohan
fucking
Kishibe goes to the Louvre. And I
yeah.
have this.
Oh
It's
my
really
god.
funny.
Dude, I need to borrow that.
No, I can lend it to you. It's really funny.
Fuck yeah, I need to borrow that. That's great.
It's one of the most surreal things I own. I can't believe I found it at like a manga shop. But it's a I think it's more common to find now. But when I found it, it definitely was.
It was not.
Yeah, it was. It's a cool little JoJo thing to have. But yeah, so Rohan definitely not Araki's self-insert. I guess so. You just got to Rohan.
Yeah,
So
I finished. He insulted Josuke's hair and that. You know.
and then he got his ass handed to him
Yeah. So
because
that was
apparently
the end of
yeah,
last night.
Josuke's insulted ass like fucking avoids stand powers when he's pissed.
I mean, you get so mad, you don't pay attention to nothing. You go, and you go in hard.
Have you ever been so pissed, fellas?
Have you ever been so pissed you went blind temporarily?
Well, it worked for him.
It did.
But that's a pretty funny one, I have to. Oh boy. Okay, so you're powering your way through JoJo. I'm guessing you experience.
Huh?
I'm guessing you're enjoying the experience.
Oh, of course. I would not continue if I did not.
Considering how much JoJo there is.
There's so much JoJo. And yeah, that's the thing. My goal is to catch up with Golden Wind and then start reading the mangas from there because I don't want to wait for the animes to come out.
Oh yeah, it's gonna take forever.
Yeah.
Once you get to the stuff that's like post part 6, that's I think the best JoJo stuff. Like the current series, part 8 is like my favorite JoJo series because it's like, what if Hirohiko Araki pretended to be Junji Ito? And it's just him doing these Junji Ito type stories. It's really cool.
That sounds fucking rad.
It's really really neat. It's a good series. And then I mean, part Steel Ball Run is like considered by a lot of people to be the best because it's just so fun.
Yeah, I heard.
Like it's
I heard part 5 is kind of like a dip in the series.
I think there's like a certain amount of people that really really like part 5, and I don't hate part 5. I enjoy it, but I think so far I've really enjoyed the part 5 anime. I could say that. I think it's really really good. But the part 5 manga, it's fine. Like I like the whole story. I really like the way the story is being presented here, though. So that's a plus. But I've really enjoyed it so far. It's been a fun one too. So yeah, that's not so bad. I've had a good time so far with that.
Good.
And you've had a good time with the rest of Joj.
Joj, the Jodeci.
JJBA.
Oh man, you know what? It's fine. Don't even worry about it.
So it's been a good time. It's
It
been a
has.
good time with the Joj.
Speaking of JoJo, yeah, and we're gonna go into the news now with this not news, really.
All right.
They found a 2,000-year-old green serpentine stone mask, and Reddit is saying that the Pillar Man are here. This coupled with the black.
I don't like that.
This coupled with the black tomb they found in the ocean can only mean that Dio
has arisen.
has arisen. And with that, we can continue on to real news because I don't know where else to take this.
Two, 2,000-year-old green serpentine stone mask found at base of Pyramid of the Sun in Teotihuacan, Mexico. Jesus.
I just don't get blood on it and everyone will be fine.
I don't I don't like that at all.
Nah,
That's
I don't think
kind of
anyone's supposed to like it.
that's like that girl who drew the sword from the lake.
Oh yeah, fuck, I saw that.
Insane.
There's so much weird shit going on right now, honestly.
What is it with people just finding these absolutely positively cursed objects?
I don't know, but yeah, it's either that girl is now everyone's queen or she's gonna go missing.
I don't trust like that. That's all I.
I would not draw a sword from a lake, especially not the lakes beside my house.
I'd leave it there.
Fucking just bounce.
Yeah, especially not the lakes in Montreal, for God's sake.
Oh,
No, I don't want to go in there. I don't
no, that's where they put the sewage.
Yeah, for what? Like last city of dumping raw sewage.
Yes, number
That's-
one, number one.
That's not encouraging. You just come out of the water, you've got a rash. Like, oh, great.
Who put that there?
You get pink eye. That would be terrible. But no, yeah, okay. So that's that's terrifying. I got some news here. Since we were speaking about it earlier, re-releases for the Switch are getting pretty crazy.
Yeah. Oh
And
man.
I think everything coming out on Switch recently is like a re-release of like a really popular game that was not previously super available to people,
Yep.
which is
Something
really
that
nice.
not available
least-
to people in the West.
Yeah, at the very least, or people who played like Nintendo consoles, because like Valkyria Chronicles just get a launch trailer today.
Yup.
And I've never played Valkyria Chronicles, but I've always been keen to because I've heard they're great. But they've always been on Sony consoles, so I've never had an opportunity to play one before. And then, like, all of the Final Fantasies that I want to Switch are coming out on my Switch, which is kind of incredible. So to be able to play Final Fantasies 10, 7, 9, and I think it's 10, 7, 9, and 12, was it?
I 12? 12 sounds wrong, but I could also be wrong.
It might have. I think it was 12. Maybe I'm just smoking crap. But to be able to play like Final Fantasy 9, my favorite Final Fantasy game, which I've only previously like emulated on a console, is going to be killer. I cannot wait to do. And because that is I want to say my favorite Final Fantasy game without a like a question. It's the gayest Final Fantasy game by far.
The gayest. Just
The
like this is the
gayest.
gayest season of JoJo.
Exactly, the gayest season of JoJo, and this is the gayest Final Fantasy, and it is
It's
a really
the year
fun
of the
game with,
gay.
it's like the most exactly. It's like the most classic Final Fantasy game in terms of like its aesthetics being like of the 3D era, but everything else being very much like of the SNES titles. So it's like that's a really great Final Fantasy. So I'm excited to finally get to like legally play that.
I'm excited
Which
for
is
The
really,
World
really
Ends
cool.
With You because that is a game that has
Yes.
been out of my grasp for, well, not really. I mean, I could just get it. I have a DS.
I
could
have
get
it on DS.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to borrow that
I
too.
have that game. You could borrow it. I'm done playing it for now. I've beaten it, but it's that's a fun one. I'd say. I really enjoy it, but you know what? I'm honestly thinking buying the remake seems like a lot more enjoyable experience than buying the original game. Because I'll be honest, I really don't like the way the original game is.
That
like-
is a huge consensus that I have heard of, like,
Yeah,
a bunch of
it's-
people
I
just...
was-
It's a good game, but it's not...
It's like it's you know, it doesn't play smoothly, but
yeah.
the narrative kind of makes up for it because it is an engaging and fun narrative, and like the aesthetic and design of the game is cool. It's just like the battle system is fucking so broken.
Busted.
It's positively broken. Yeah, absolutely and completely busted. But I do enjoy the game's story. So, you know what? Maybe when the Tweety remake comes out, you should consider getting it.
I might do
Um,
that.
it's gonna be fun, I think, and I think I'm gonna get it too because I think I'm gonna enjoy playing it in the PS version. Like fighting two simultaneous battles at the same time with different systems.
That's a lot to wrap your head around.
Yeah, like I swear my brain broke every time I played the game. It fucking was like, ah! It was really frustrating when it gets to like the harder boss stuff. Holy shit. Just like, and grinding in the game was such a fucking chore. That's one that I'm not keen to play again.
There's
Honestly,
grinding? See, like
yeah,
I don't know much about this game. All I know is that I played Kingdom Hearts, Dream Drop Distance. That's 3D on the 3DS,
yeah.
and some of those characters were in there, and I was like, oh, I want to play that game now.
That's I think what got me into the idea of playing it because I always kind of liked the aesthetics of it, but I'm like I should really play that, and then I bought it at I think it was at Otaku. I bought it
Immediate regret.
exactly. I bought it, I played it, and I was like, that was like $60. That's what I did with my $60. Great. I'm kind of happy that I own it because it's like a collectible, but at the same time, meh.
Yeah.
It's a very
Eh.
game. Exactly. But there's so much shit coming out. Like every game that you could possibly want. I mean, I got Undertale on Switch now, and I burned through it in like a day. I was
That's
having such
another
a
one
good.
I still haven't played.
That's I think the Switch version of the game and like the console version of the game. That might be the definitive version of the game. It's perfect. And I mean the fact that I can play it portably without having to take my fucking laptop out.
Yeah.
Because that game is like that game works super well with like a proper control, and it plays really nicely. So that's a fun one. I'm really enjoying it. Read Only Memories, the game I mentioned before,
Yeah.
also is like a re-release of like a game. Like basically what happened is they released the game, it had like no voice acting, and then they re-released it on console, and they like tweaked it. They kind of added more music to the game. The music is by Too Mellow.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he
My
did all
boy.
the music in the game. Exactly. So I have like you get the whole soundtrack for free to listen to in this version of the game. The game is fully voice acted for the most part, with like a whole bunch of pretty nice internet voice people, which is really cool. Got Sungwon Cho, Pro ZD in it. It's got Jim Sterling, just a whole bunch of like internet people. So it's a pretty nice voice cast, and then it's got like a bonus chapter that you can play, and it's like a kind of like a redesigned UI. It's really cool. It's a nice version of that game, and that was like I said originally a pretty vanilla release on PC that I had, and I really enjoyed it. But it's nice to play it on my Switch and to have it where I go and to not have to once again dig out my laptop to play. So
Yeah.
that's a really fun one to have. But yeah, this I don't know. It's nice to own a console that is really being catered to and to get all these releases for it. Because even if they're re-releases, they're re-releases of games that I don't think I've ever previously played. So they matter a lot to me that I get to play them. Even like the stuff that was on Wii U that I definitely didn't really get to play. Like getting a new Smash game with like everything, which is insane.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I mean, that's the
um,
thing too. Like right now that I find really cool, is like with Virtual Console and like all these like re-releases kind of. It's like, I don't have to pay $300 for a game cartridge now. I
exactly,
can just I
exactly.
can get it on the and like still enjoy it. And if I want the game cartridge, I can just use like I can get it for the collector's value, but I don't need to play it there. There are, of course, bad ports and all that shit. That's definitely a
Oh
thing
yeah,
you got to take
there's
into
some bad
account.
ones.
But I mean, like, it's never been easier to go back and play Super Nintendo games without a Super Nintendo.
It's nice. It's
Yeah,
really nice. It feels like a privilege that you could only enjoy now. You know?
I was
and
born
and
in
that
the
I'm happy
right
to be
time
able to enjoy.
period.
Yes, exactly. Like I feel like it's so much nicer that I don't have to go and like dig a PS1 out of like somebody's you know or rent an entire fucking console from the video store to
Yeah.
play a game.
Oh
I can
man,
just
I
get
remember
the
when they let
re-release
you
on my
rent
Switch.
consoles. That's how I played Resident Evil 4.
Oh,
No, it wasn't
really?
even
You
Resident
rented
Evil 4. It was what was it? I was super young. I can barely remember, but my mom rented a PS2. I think it was Silent Hill or something.
Oh shit.
What?
That's
Fuck.
cool.
I don't remember. Anyway, we rented a PS2 for like a month, and it was just like,
Oh.
oh, and then it went away, and we bought one because they were like, even my parents were like, yeah, this is great.
Oh, yes, your parents play games, don't they?
Um, my dad doesn't really anymore. He'd come in and like help me with some harder parts when I was littler, but uh, at some point the student surpassed the teacher, and now he's just I don't think he's picked up a controller in like a couple of years. My mom, I think the last game we played together was Resident Evil 5. She used to like just like doing the puzzles and let me do the rest. So
Oh, that's fun.
yeah.
And that game is fun co-op.
Eh. It's okay.
I I enjoy the Resi 5 co-op. I think it's enjoyable.
It's a fun co-op. It's better than the fucking depending on her stupid AI.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Cheva's AI in the game is so
It's
awful
so bad.
that the co-op version of the game is so much better.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty interesting game. There's some shit in that game that's weird and racist.
Yeah.
There's like
It's I oh man,
there's
I fucking
there's some pretty like oy.
the funniest thing about that game was like when it was announced, everyone was like, "That's racist," and then a bunch of people were like, "No, it's not. It takes place in Africa. Of course, there's gonna be black people there. It just makes sense." And it was like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." And like even like just oh man, and then the fucking uh the quote unquote savage levels
Oh
with the
my
huts
god.
and the alligators, and you're just like, "Oh, well,
The
Capcom,
fact that the
why?"
fact that like the game it's this is what Japan thinks Africa is, you know?
Yeah.
That's what that game is. It's like every time you see a black guy in an anime and he's like voiced by like the one American voice actor below the
Yep.
screen, and he just goes like, "Hey motherfucker, how are you, motherfucker? You fucking mother of motherfucker fuck." You
Yeah.
know? And it's just like, right? Because black people in America swear a lot, and that's
And that's only
definitely
black
how it
people.
is. And only black people. Actually, I think it's a lot of Americans in anime swear a lot, but yeah, it's mostly black people whenever they try to
I
depict.
feel like
America.
swearing a lot is more of a Canadian feature than anything. But anyway,
We do swear. It's true.
yeah, we fucking
I
do.
think we swear better than the United States.
Oh,
Swears.
we super
We're
do.
better swearers.
Apparently, it's like world renowned. You winning, son. Um, there's a Kickstarter that looks pretty fucking rad. I will send it to you right
Okay.
now. I don't.
Please do.
I'm weary of Kickstarters. It's been a minute. Mighty Number 9. But this one looks pretty cool. It looks
Mighty
like
Number
a Mighty Number 8. It looks like a D&D type RPG, top down, kind of tabletop, turn based.
It's definitely got that D&D ass.
Oh
fucking
yeah,
font
no,
going.
it's trying
just
for
looks-
the D&D.
That just looks like 3.5 edition.
Yeah. I can't afford these fucking figures anymore. Please make them in 3D models.
Oh my! How much money did you blow on D figurine?
Oh god.
The miniatures.
Recently, like none. It's been a good minute, but when I was younger, like a good couple of allowances for sure. That and magic cards. Oh man. The game is called Realms Beyond, Ashes of the Fallen. It is currently at $44,445 out of $149,776. It's got 28 days left.
28 days left to go. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a pull.
Unfortunately.
Damn.
But,
I wish
that
I
looks
saw that
really,
before.
Really cool, though.
But yeah, it looks
That
really
looks
rad.
Cool.
Yeah,
This looks like a lot of fun.
it does. It would be so good.
Oh, it's got like a fully developed world.
Yeah,
for
like
for
everything's
it
there.
looks like Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah,
Oh, that looks really really cool.
I hope they make it. Maybe not though. It's not looking too
That would
good.
be enjoyable. You know what I'd really really enjoy? An Elder Scrolls game in the style of this kind of game, like set within the world of the Elder Scrolls, but
Just
playing
take the
like one of these
Fallout
kind of.
One, the Fallout One
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like the
thing.
original
Yeah,
Fallout
yeah,
games, but it's Elder Scrolls.
yeah.
That because
Well, I
I
think
really love
there
the Elder
were
Scrolls world,
some.
but I don't have enough money to play the Elder Scrolls Online.
I don't care
And you
about
get
the
tired
Elder
of
Scrolls
playing
Online. Yeah,
Skyrim over
like
and over.
fucking. It
'Cause I
doesn't.
really, really do enjoy.
Oh, geez.
Continue.
I'll be right back. I gotta go pee real quick.
Oh,
Unprofessional. Try.
I think I think you're cutting out.
Oh shit. Hold on.
You kind of dipping in and out. You see the little Discord voice board.
Yeah. Uh.
I don't know who.
Oh no. What's
Full.
happening? Someone's
I
cutting
got
out.
full connection.
I do not, so it might be me.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go pee. Do you want to take it
Is it
away?
you or me? I can't tell.
I think it might be me, just because I was moving around. I might have moved away from
Oh,
my mic.
maybe.
You want to take it away a
But
little bit with the Lego DC supervillain game?
oh yeah.
I'm gonna go pee,
Yeah.
so you go on that for a bit, and I will be right back.
Yeet. I certainly will.
Do it.
I will. So the Lego DC supervillain this week yesterday. The cool thing about it, at least to me, is that it seems to be to this point the most complete Lego DC game. So the Lego games are really fun. A lot of them are open world action games, you know, with mission structures. This one in particular is special because it features clearing my throat. Features a bunch of like the villains as the main. You're playing as your customizable Lego DC supervillain, and the story concerns the Justice League being kind of removed from their universe and being replaced by the Crime Syndicate, who are like the evil version of the Justice League from Earth 3, which is an Earth where everybody is kind of everybody who's good is, you know, bad, and everybody who's bad is good. And this evil Justice League replaces the regular Justice League. So the supervillains break out of prison and team these bad guys so that they can go back to fighting the Justice League, which seems really funny. But what I really seem to enjoy about this game is the amount of effort that they've put into it. The Lego games are usually pretty polished and they're really fun. They're not system heavy. They're simple. They're easy to play. Characters have a lot of powers.
Super
There's a billion
wacky.
characters. Exactly, they're wacky. A billion characters in every game. But what's neatest about this is that the voice acting is like super on point because they've gotten pretty much every definitive voice actor for each character to come and reprise their role.
Oh shit,
So you
for
have
real.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is the Joker.
Of course.
Clancy Brown is Lex Luthor. Kevin Conroy is Batman. And then you've got just everybody is in this game. All like the people that you would want voicing these characters are in. Like even Merlin, who's like one of Green Arrow's villains, he's like an evil archer basically,
Yeah.
is voiced by the guy who plays Merlin in Arrow.
Jesus. So
Yeah, like they
man,
went,
like
they
Lego's
went to
got
that.
money to throw at their games and movies, and they always they're so good.
WB Interactive has that Warner Brothers money, so they
It's
will
got-
bring in the voices when they can. And they've really seemed to put it all in. Even like Michael Ironside, Darkseid, that's the guy who voiced Darkseid in Batman the Animated Series, Superman, and Justice League. Like that's awesome, and he's like the best version of Darkseid by far. He's got like a really killer voice.
Yeah.
So this just seems like it's going to be a super fun game. I can't wait to play it, and all the reception for it so far has been really positive.
I'm
So
always super
just-
hype on Lego. I'm always super hype on Lego games. They
yeah.
fucking like there's a level of like it's never really hard, but you
Mhm.
never really feel like it's holding your hand either, and like
They play like Kirby games.
yeah, exactly. They
It's
like
just a comfortable and brisk gameplay experience.
it's fun and it's never too hard. There's it's chock full of stuff. Every game is so fucking filled to the brim, to
Oh my god, yeah,
bursting
they're
even.
with content, just so much, and vehicles and characters and powers and like locations. Sometimes, if you're playing the perfect game, the open worlds are huge sometimes. So this is gonna be a really fun game. But I'm excited to play it, and I'm hyped to hear just all those voice actors come and play their role. That's just so exciting to me that they really got everybody they could. Steve Bloom is in it. Like every voice actor that has like done a DC character is playing a character in this game, and it just really looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So I'm excited for that. Yeah, the Lego games are like, I haven't played a proper Lego game in a while. Like the last Lego game I played was the Lego Marvel Superheroes 1, which I really enjoyed. So I'm like getting back into the Lego games, and this is like the perfect entry point. So I'm hyped to see how it goes. But I know that the recent Lego games have just been all really well received. So I'm excited to see how this goes. But so far, it looks like fun. And I mean, I love Lego. I also collect Lego. I have almost every Lego DC superheroes Lego set that exists. So
Lego
I've
Boy, Bionicle Boy. You got
yeah,
all of the
Bionicle Boy.
Legos.
I love Lego. Just Lego is awesome.
Lego
You think
games sure do better than Iron Fist has.
What are you talking about? You telling me they're not going to make Lego Iron Fist
Oh, I
uh,
don't think so.
game?
Mm,
He's in
I,
the Marvel games. I know that. I have an Iron Fist Lego minifigure somewhere from like a
somewhere in my
old
pile
Lego
of
set.
Legos. I just imagine your room has a fucking like mountain corner dedicated to Legos.
You're absolutely correct.
Called it.
It 100% does. But yeah, so that's going to be really fun, and it seems like they put a lot of money and like polish behind this game. So I hope it doesn't disappoint. I think it's going to be the next title I pick up for my Switch. Actually. So I'll tell you all about it when I get it. But so far, uh, that seems like something that I'm really going to enjoy.
That do we got anything else?
Not really.
No, not really. There's the
I think that seems like
NBA 2K permanently banning players for literally using the auction house as intended. But that's not really a
I
story. I
didn't.
just thought that was kind of funny.
That's pretty funny. I want to see the details of this. That seems pretty whack, actually.
It
Let's see
super
what the
is.
fuck is going on there.
All right, so
Okay.
essentially, from what I could tell, I didn't look too much into it, but there's an auction house for cards or something, and
Okay, look good.
this guy got
Yes.
permabanned for buying a car. For what did they call it? Auction house sniping. And he's like, "Can I get some clarification on what that is?" And the person was just
Auction
like,
house.
"Yeah, it may go up to, but is not limited to auction house sniping." And he was just like, "What? I don't understand." And they're like, auction house sniping is essentially buying a card for more or less than it was intended to be bought for. So essentially, what they're doing right now is banning people for, like, I don't know if there's more cases than just this one, but um, I guess he bought a card for less than its
Okay.
intended price at the auction house. So they banned him for like how auction economy works.
That's that's just using the auction house. That's
Yeah, I don't
insane.
know. It is.
What are those mods doing?
I have. I don't know. And customer service wasn't much more help. That was a story that
Okay.
I didn't look into enough, but I thought it was kind of a funny thing.
What the fuck are they doing? That's pretty funny, I have to say.
They're being
They've
goof
got some
knockers.
they've got some balls to do that. Holy shit. That's ridiculous. Auction house sniping. Wild, absolutely wild.
The
I
madman actually did it.
you absolute madman, just like John Lennon and his dumb walk. That's that's really funny. Holy shit. I get wow. It takes effort to be that bad at moderating.
It does.
It really does. Like that, you have to try really hard to suck that openly. So that's pretty fucking funny, I must say. Uh, okay, so I guess apart from that, that seems to be it. I think
Yeah.
for our little test run here.
That looks. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh boy.
What? Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I was gonna talk about the N64 Mini, but why would you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's
Eh,
just an N64.
yeah,
Who cares?
I,
I don't care
I'm
about those
super
mini
sick of the
consoles.
mini consoles, dude. They
I'm so am I. The PS1 mini they're doing, like, I don't give a
every
shit.
time I see one, it's just like, why? There's
I see
emulators,
what
and you're
you
making
know
everything
you
backwards
walk by like
compatible
indie
anyway.
games. And they wanna, yeah, I don't. It's that's stupid.
Like
And
I,
I know that like recently they just like pretty much like 360 no scoped Emu Paradise,
yeah, yeah,
which really sucks for anybody in the emulating community, including, I guess, me who played a lot of games emulated. But like,
that's illegal,
I
so
don't
you're
know.
going to
Even
jail.
still, oh, sorry, just incriminating myself.
We were talking about crime games.
Oh, jeez, that's just wild.
Yeah, that pretty much does it
But
for the podcast.
I'd say so too. But I think that went pretty well. What do you think?
I think it went pretty well. Um, do you have
So
any plugs
I guess
besides? Because I'm gonna upload this to the YouTube, which is
yeah,
what is the channel name? GamePunx Cast.
it's just GamePunx podcast.
Yeah, GamePunx Podcast. You can find us on the YouTubes. We're gonna be uploading this also, I believe.
And then I'm gonna do an MP3, and I think I might just kind of stick it in a mega folder or something. We'll figure out how to do it, but I'll stick it in the comments of the video when or not the comments, but the
Description.
description of the video when we're done.
All right.
So when it goes up, I'll go in and I'll edit the description and I'll stick it in somewhere.
Yeah.
But until then, though, I mean, you can stick a link to like Clip Converter
Yes.
if you want to listen to this audio wise.
Come hang out.
Exactly. But I mean, it goes right to YouTube, so that's convenient.
Yeah, the Twitch will go right to YouTube.
That's good.
It
And I think
is-
the Twitch stream seemed to be pretty smooth.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll re-listen to some bits where I think it got maybe a little choppy. But I think it went well. Um,
I think it was pretty good.
yeah, I also stream
I
very
think that's-
often on my Twitch, which is Scratch Me Silly at twitchtv.com/Scratch Me Silly. So if you want to come hang out sometime, that's where I am.
I don't stream at all, but you can find me on Twitter at Nouveau Art Punk, NOUVEAU Art Punk. But all
Spell
one
the
word.
French word.
But I mean, I'm on Twitter every day, and I'm on often. So I mean, just if you want to interact on Twitter, there I am. I don't really do much else. I did have a podcast before this one.
But now this
But
is your
if
life.
you want to go listen to it, it's on YouTube. If you want to listen to it on my YouTube channel, but otherwise, that's about it for me. I don't really do much online apart from this. So yeah, I know Twitch, video game,
There we go.
pretty well.
I'm gonna end the stream now. Have a good night, everyone who watched.